Having a routine and showing up consistently has definitely changed my life. Over the past few years, I have gone in pursuit of creating new habits, new routines, finding what works for me, and just trying to give myself the motivation to keep going. I've tried different things from podcasts to books to self help videos. You guys, I've done the whole 9 years, and each time I crashed, I stood up and I started again till I found something that works for me, which is creating systems and not focusing on the goals. Let me explain. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time joining us here, you're welcome. You're seeing my video for the second time or a returning subscriber. Thank you very much for tuning in again today. I really do appreciate your time. My name is Pasheda. I'm a business strategist and content creator based in Lagos, Nigeria. And on today's video, I'm going to be talking about creating routines and staying consistent. We all know that we've heard constantly motivation, discipline, consistency. These three words for me in particular are things that have been reoccurring in my life for the past few years. I work for myself, I'm a creator. It is a struggle to stay consistent. I'm a routine girl. I have to try and consistently plan and try to stay consistent or focused. Now, I found that creating systems and not focusing on the goals work for me. And let me explain what that means. The goal is focusing on what you want to achieve, whereas creating systems is you focusing on the process that gets you to what you want to achieve. In the end, you end up getting to the same goal, but the difference between focusing on just your goal and creating systems that work for you is that you're changing your lifestyle to suit the goal. You're changing your lifestyle to accommodate for everything that you need to be successful. So you're focusing on the journey there, not just the destination. Okay. In the book that I read very recently, Atomic Habits by James Clear, he said, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of yours. The goal can look like losing weight, or let me use myself as a personal example, gaining weight. Sometime last year, my goal was to add weight. And I did hit my goal, you guys. I went to the gym consistently. I was eating consistently to make sure that I added weight. And I hit my body goal. But I lost it so drastically in the following month that I was shook. This was because I didn't focus on building a healthy lifestyle that promotes me adding weight normally. I was just so focused on a body goal I wanted to achieve. And once I hit that milestone, everything went downhill from there. Which brings me to the steps that I have taken to create systems for myself, and I also think you can implement in your life. The first one is understanding yourself. You have to understand yourself and what works for you, so that you save yourself the stress of comparing yourself to other people on the internet or other people that you know, and don't put unnecessary pressure on yourself. For someone like me, I'm a planner. I know that if I don't plan my day, or if I don't plan my month or my week, planning down to the T, I am setting myself up for failure. There are people out there that don't necessarily care for planning and they can just go with the flow and they get maximum results. If I try it, if I try it, doesn't work for me. So understanding yourself means that you're identifying patterns that work for you and understanding how things show up for you throughout your life. An email that I got recently from Diary of a Nigeria Girl Dan last year, she talked about how she had to sit down and reassess how things have happened for her over the past few years, and she realized that success for her was never a fast journey. She always had to put in the work before success came. And this differs for everybody. Some people have lucky girl syndrome. Some people are just blessed. The grace that they carry is different. But you have to look to yourself, look at what has worked for you over time. For me, how I came to the routine that I have now is to look at the times when I have been most productive in the past and what has worked for me. Now, I'm a morning person. If I don't get my day started before 12 o'clock or 1 p.m., I most likely will not get anything done that day. I have tried to fight this. Like, there was a time when I was going out and staying out late at night. I'll come back 2, 3 a.m., wake up late, and I just found that I wasn't being productive. This is because I don't know how to function past, I have to force my body to function past a certain time, when I can just go to bed early and wake up early and do what I have to do. So now I wake up at 6 a.m. or before 6 a.m., but I've just created my life to fit what works for me personally. I said to myself that I'm someone who needs to plan and who needs to have structure to be able to hit my goals, and that's fine. Now, this brings me to my second tip. You have to create your lifestyle in a way whereby you are encouraging yourself to do better. This can mean listening to podcasts, listening to self-help videos, reading books, anything, but putting intentional things in your day that help you achieve your goal, that help you focus on the things that you want to achieve and put your mindset where you need it to be. So for me, a few podcasts that I listen to that puts my mindset in the right place will be the Mindset Mentor. I listen to this every day because the episodes are short. I use it to kickstart my morning, to put myself in the, as I like to say, aspire to perspire mode, because it works for me and it helps me to achieve my goal. The second one is On Purpose by Jay Shetty, Happy and Healthy podcast, To All the People podcast. A lot of them, but these are a few of my own recommendations. I also try to watch YouTubers that encourage me and I see living the kind of life that I want for myself. Okay, something else of honorable mention would be to be aware of the season that you're in your life. And I think that this is very important because different seasons in your life mean different things. Just like we have planting time and harvest time, it is the same in your life. There's a period of time where you just really need to put in the groundwork in order to be able to achieve what you really want. For me, last year, there was a period of time where I was transitioning from having a 9 to 5 to being a full-time content creator. And in this time, the things that I needed to focus on more was to improve my craft, reach out to brands, and just put in the groundwork that would allow me to have a successful career. So if you can identify what season you're in your life, it helps to first of all reduce the pressure you put on yourself. Secondly, helps you to set realistic goals and allows you to create systems in your life that accommodate them. The next thing I have to say is to have a focus cycle. I'm someone that finds it very difficult to sit still for a long period of time. You guys, I do not know how to focus at a stretch. So last year when I really started to pay attention to myself, I started something called the 30-30 rule. So I'd focus for 30 minutes and give myself a 30 minutes break. This seemed like a lot, but that was what was working for me, because I used to fight myself about not being able to focus for a long time. And I thought back to when I was in uni, when I was doing my master's, when I had the job. I realized that I've never been someone that could sit for a long time. I would always step out of the class. I would always step out of the cinema room. Don't put me anywhere for too long. I would stand up. So I started a 30-30 rule. I put it on my planner. I'm going to put a screen here where I can show you guys my Notion planner where I have my focus circle timer. Now I find that I'm able to do 45 minutes at a stretch or longer. Once I get into that routine, sometimes I stay there an hour, 2 hours, I'm not standing up. But it wasn't always like this for me. I had to build my focus and retention rate from ground up. But I didn't do that by beating up myself. I did that by understanding myself and creating something that worked for me. Okay, and I think that you should do the same. Next thing I want to say is to learn emotional detachment. Now, this doesn't apply to everybody, but I'm a very sensitive person. Like when things are not going right for me outside of my work life, it affects how I show up. It affects my productivity. I've always looked at people that could just drop all their problems outside of work and function like nothing is wrong. I always looked at them in amusement, but I had to learn that skill, because when things were going wrong for me, it would affect my productivity, whatever that looked like. Another example for me would be when I lost my parents in 2021. I had to write my MBA exam barely a month after. I'm talking 3 weeks after I lost my mom and my dad on the same day. You guys, by force. No, by force, I had to learn to leave my problems outside of my school door, come to school, read, and pass my exam. And to God be the glory, that was a success. And I adapted that habit past that point in time of my life. So now when things are going wrong, I would learn to slow it down, but never allow it to affect my work life in totality. Now the next step, which is very, very important, is planning. You have to learn what planning looks like for you and what works for you. The way that I plan my days now is one of the best ways and the best method that I find. I always divide my to-do list into different components. I have my quick fixes, I have my follow-up tasks, I have my major tasks, and then I have my non-negotiables. My non-negotiables means that if I get this thing done that day, I have had a productive day. My quick fixes are things that I can do within 10-20 minutes, things that I can do in between other tasks, things I can do on the go. I look at my quick fixes. There are things I can do on the go, maybe on my way back from the gym, or I'm heading to the grocery store. I'll get those done. And my follow-up tasks are things that require me to take a bit more time, like 20-30 minutes or less. Like I just maybe need to sit down and give it a bit of attention. Now I do this in between times when I know that I cannot focus for a long period of time. I would focus on all these minute tasks and get them done. Now for my major tasks, I know that my focus window within a day is very, very limited. So the 2, 3, 4 hours where I know that I can be the most productive, I would pick my major tasks to work on in that time, as opposed to using my peak hours to attend to very tiny tasks. I pick my major tasks and my non-negotiable and I get it done in that time, so that at the end of the day, when I'm going over my to-do list, I feel like I have had a productive day, which might honestly just have been I had 2 to 3 hours of intense productivity. Do you get what? Something important that I need to put out is that you will most likely not get it or figure it out in one try. Like it took me a lot of trial and error to actually find what works for me. Sometimes I even try to like deviate from my routine and try and do something else, and I find I'm not being productive and I have to come back. I've tried different methods. I've tried time blocking works for a lot of people, but I just found that it put like an insane amount of pressure on me, because I'm someone whereby if things don't go according to plan, I would literally shut down. Like I would have a meltdown. So I found that putting time to my plans per day was not really helping, because once 2 p.m. is gone and I've not done what I stated to do at 2 p.m., I would want to skip that task and go to the next one. No, and that was a lot of pressure for me. I could not handle. I left it and I tried. I'm now using this method that works for me. What I'm saying in turn is that you have to try different routines and different methods till you find something that really, really works for you. Something else that I found that really helps me to stay consistent and to build the life that I want is reflections, you guys. I stay reflecting on the things that I could have done better the previous week, the previous month. I actually do it every week and every month. Like what at the date of filming this video, we're about entering a new month. And in February of this year, I didn't show up for myself in the way I would really have wanted to. I did my best, honestly. The month was pretty rough for me. But I sat back and I reflected on the month. I looked at the things that I could have done better, how I could have managed my emotions better, how I could have created how I could have done things basically that would have improved my productivity. And instead of beating myself up for it, I just realized and I acknowledged that, oh, this is how this month went, and I want to do better in the next month. So these reflections can look like anything for you. It can look like having a solemn moment to just think. It can look like journaling. For me, I always like to get things out of my head because I have a very busy head. Like I'm always thinking and overthinking everything. So I get a journal and I put out everything on piece of paper, things I think I could have done better, things I was proud of in the previous month, systems that I want to repeat. Basically, just reflect and enter a Zen mode and be prepared or be charged up for the new month or the new week. You always have to reflect past. If not, you just find yourself operating in the same circles and probably not getting the best results that you want. Which brings me to my next tip. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is sacrifice, you guys. If you're trying to build a good, like the life that you want, and you're trying to stay consistent and continuously keep having high level of productivity every day, you're going to have to sacrifice certain things. It looks like different things for different people. For me, at some point, I just decided that I was going to stay indoors more so I could focus on the goals that I wanted to achieve. And I'm in the point where I'm trying to build more network. What my goals look like right now is to build more network, meet people. This means that I'm going to go out a bit more. The sacrifice here is going outside, like leaving the comfort of my own home, because my house is very comfortable. I like being